Hi guys, I hope you're all well and healthy. Today in this talk we're going to look at how we can sit with discomfort without escaping and reverting back to our addiction. If you're in early parts of recovery, particularly, one of the most surprising and really difficult things you will notice or encounter is that for many of us, things don't get better really quick, really fast. That's not how recovery tends to work. It sometimes feels like it gets more difficult before it gets better. Our old coping mechanisms, which we relied upon, are gone because we're making an intentional choice to move away from those. The distractions are reduced in our lives, and what we're left with is feeling emotions and sitting with emotions that perhaps we've just spent years to avoid. Emotions like grief, not just for people but for ourselves, perhaps for lost time that we're never going to get back, never going to be able to get back again, which is really, really hard to deal with. Missed versions of ourselves which that our addiction has sabotaged, that we just haven't been able to be the people we wanted to be. Relationships that we just couldn't sustain and haven't been able to uphold, that may have gone. These are really uncomfortable feelings which are really real. Shame, that word again, is there something wrong with me? Is this who I am? Loneliness and fear, two really crippling emotions that are really uncomfortable to deal with. But how can we flee those without escaping back to our addiction? So today we're going to talk about one of the most important skills in our recovery, which is how we can sit with these feelings and these discomforts without escaping. The escape route back diverts us and reroutes us to our addiction. Now, addiction and compulsive behaviour aren't really about pleasure. It's a bit of a misconception, and you might think, well, of course they are. Why are they not? Well, they kind of are in a sense, but the overriding feeling and the overriding thought about that is escape. It is about escape from these things: loneliness, addiction, stress, grief, all these things, which we have not been able to and can't confront and deal with face on, which propels us back to dealing with it in a different way, which has been harmful for us. When those escape routes are removed out of our lives, the emotions they were covering up then rise back to the surface, and this is where it gets difficult for us. Now, that doesn't mean what we're doing recovery all wrong. It means that we're finally facing what's always been there. But the challenge is how we do that. Discomfort in recovery is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that something in our lives is shifting and changing. We're being intentional to move away. Most of us were never taught how to sit with uncomfortable feelings. It's not something perhaps we're good at. So we avoid them. So when discomfort shows up, we assume one of two things. What our brain tells us is we need to get rid of these thoughts immediately because we can't handle them. Or secondly, we say that there must be something wrong with me for feeling the way I do. And both of these feelings keep us in a place where we feel stuck. Discomfort is not dangerous, but it is uncomfortable and it is temporary. Okay, it will go. The urge to escape will pass, whether we act on these things or not. Urges to escape will pass. Sitting with discomfort does not mean we are forcing ourselves to suffer. It means staying present without reacting impulsively. Really important we kind of understand and try and understand that. And here's a simple way we can just practice this in theory. When a strong feeling hits us, we pause, we take a step back, like I've said in the previous videos. We don't react straight away. We process it. We look at it. What's it doing? How are we feeling? How is this making me feel right now? This is really uncomfortable. I'm identifying it. But is it doing me damage? No, because I am safe. Where does this feel? Where does this hurt me? Where am I feeling physically? This is attacking me in my body. Maybe I'm feeling uptight and anxious and stressed and restless with this. We don't need to analyze it. Or fix it. We just got to notice. Just got to be aware of what this does. And this is how we are building back our lives. bit by bit. This is how we're doing it. Most urges peak and pass within minutes when they're not fed. We feed our addiction, don't we? We like to feed it, whether that's having another drink, whether that's flicking online again and looking at another website that's not healthy, whether that's putting some more money down on another bet. We keep feeding what's in front of us. That's where this is so dangerous. This is where it pulls us back. So if we cannot feed it, this is how freedom is built, quietly, moment by moment. And for many, many in recovery, the hardest times are not the crisis. The hardest times aren't the crisis moments where it all crashes in. It's what builds up to that. So maybe in quiet hours, when are the quietest hours where we're feeling our addiction would try and come back into our life again, heavier, more loudly, at night times, weekends, when we're on our own, isolating by ourselves, moments when we're alone with our thoughts again, which take us on a bad route back to feed our addiction that comes back tenfold into our lives. And this is where discomfort shows up its most, and this is where it's its strongest. And instead of asking, how do I make this feeling go away and flee from me, try asking, how can I stay present without harming myself? How do we do that? Real small, practical, easy ways. Going for a walk, putting the kettle on, making a drink, tea or coffee. I know it sounds crazy, but these are really small things that would divert and distract. And they're really good. Writing a few things down, journal. Make a habit of trying to journal. That's a really good thing to do. Things that really speak to you, journal them. Then look back on them. Filling your mind with these positivity. Write a gratitude list. Somebody once said to me, write a gratitude list down. I said, what do you mean? That doesn't. He said, mate, you've got to be grateful for stuff in your life. You might have lost a lot of stuff, but there's still things that if you write them down and you're really honest about your life right now, what are the good things? The hobby, the gift you have, the job you're good at, the close family that have stuck with you and supported you through your difficult times. These are real small positives, but they are positives. They may not be, 20, 30, 40 things you can just say you've got in your life that you're super happy about. There might be only 3 to 5, but there's still things, and there's still things we need to be grateful for and thank God for. And why does this skill change everything? Well, when we can learn to sit with discomfort, when we've learned how to do that and not let it take us back to escape, something really important happens in our life. We realize that we don't have to obey every feeling. Feelings come in and they don't have the final say. We need to be mastery over it. We need to be controlling the feelings, not the feelings controlling us. We've got to have ownership over the feelings. Urges will lose their power because they won't be dominating us. We'll be tackling them and know how to tackle them. Emotions will become information and not commands. We'll be able to understand what's happening but not act upon it. And this is how integrity in our lives will be rebuilt and will come back. And this is how self-trust will also grow back. Not by being comfortable, but by staying present when we are not. If recovery feels hard for you right now, you're not failing. You're simply learning a skill that most people never develop because they don't know how to. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is a teacher. Remember, everything we go through in life, good or bad, can teach us stuff. It hasn't only got to be the good things. We can look back on and go, well, that was great. I've learned from that. That's brilliant. I know how to do that now. We can learn stuff, probably more things, when we go through adversity, hardship, strife, difficulties, when our life seems at its lowest point. If we can come out of those moments, we are stronger people. We will have learnt so much. Maybe learnt enough that we can help somebody else through those moments. Maybe that's a real skill that you would not ever have if you hadn't encountered it yourself and experienced those losses yourself and taken those hits. So every time you choose not to escape, you're becoming a stronger person, even if it doesn't feel like just now. I hope that's helped today, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next talk. Take care.